All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of our Supernatural Aftercast, one of our TV talks here at Malice Corp. Howdy. Good episode tonight, episode 3 of the season, named Patience. I, of course, am ICZorro, and joining me tonight, as usual, we've got SuperWhovianFreak. What's up, Super?
Not a whole lot. What's going on?
And on the other end over there, we've also got Gia Tomcat. Pretty much exclusive to our Supernatural cast lately, but also one of the contributors on our site, malice-corp.com. Any thoughts right out of the gate? Anything? What was your favorite thing about the episode? I know you got some issues. Let's go happy first.
Favorite thing. This may sound weird as a favorite moment, but watching the brothers hash it out at the end, each getting their fight on, so to speak. They each had valid points. Each had very valid points. I see where each one was coming from, and it was a long time coming. And I say long time in the sense that really only like 4 days has gone by. But it was needed and it was necessary.
I agree. I thought it was good that they had that conversation, but man, you got to realize you're in a closed environment. And there's only one other person there, and you're talking loudly about him. You can't check around the corner first. Gia, what about you? What was your favorite thing about the episode tonight?
The pencil.
The pencil.
I moved the pencil.
Did we actually get to see it move, or they just ran out of the they ran out of the special effects budget already? With a lot of practical effects tonight.
Somebody on the table blowing on it.
I know, right? Or just have him just slightly lift up the edge of the table so it rolls.
Yeah.
That would be good. We will talk about the less pleasant aspects of the episode as we get through them. But I definitely got some all caps texts from SuperWhovian during the episode. So we start out, and we've got we start out with what's her name? The blonde girl, the blonde psychic, getting killed. Which did anybody not see that coming? That dude just has a face. You're like, yeah, something's wrong with this guy.
I didn't quite see it coming the way it came, but man, because that was pretty brutal. Even for supernatural standards, that was pretty brutal.
It was.
And
yeah.
I
was waiting for him to lick her face. It's got that vibe, that creepy.
Reminded me of the creepy orderly in Terminator 2, where she's all supposed to be drugged out and zoned out on the bed, and he just licks her face. You're like, ugh. That was. I liked that they showed what she saw as a psychic. That was a really cool little thing.
It was, and very different from how they had her the first time around, where that's not what she was initially. She was just a reader of auras. She could sense, energies in the house.
About Missouri?
I'm talking about Missouri. Sorry.
Okay.
And she, to go with the visions, all of a sudden now she's having visions. I don't know, maybe her gift expounded, maybe, it improved, which is entirely possible. But initially her character was only able to sense energies, and she wasn't getting these visions and
right. Well, and whatnot. Because Dean explained Missouri to Jody as she reads objects, and I was like, I don't remember that part really specifically.
Yeah, I mean, she could sense, like when she walked into the house in Lawrence back in season 1, she's like, yeah, there's a presence here. Yeah, it's evil. Yeah, but she didn't just walk in and go like, boom, this person died here. This person did this. You're fighting at this. You're, And so I was like, oh, all right. She's kind of grown a little bit.
I think it was maybe just an efficiency thing. Like they knew they weren't going to have a ton of minutes for her to be on screen, so she had to be exposition quick. And it felt a little odd, but it was really nice seeing her again. I love that actress.
I do too. Love the character.
So we see. Well, then we cut back to the bunker, and Sam gives the final message from Kelly to Jack. And of course, this kid looks like he's 22 or 23. So you hand him a flash drive and you think, oh, he probably knows what to do. No, he's 4 days old. He had no idea what to do with the flash drive. Gia, what did you think about that message that we saw Kelly giving Jack? I mean, I feel like we had seen maybe a little bit of it when she was recording it last season. But what did you think of this slightly longer version?
I was thinking this was the first of what, three or four hopeful messages this episode. The mom, Sam giving a hopeful message, Jody giving a hopeful message to patients, Dean giving a negative message to patients. I mean, it was fairly powerful, and it served to move the story along.
Well, I thought it was a nice line that she had, and that's another actress that I love. I think the first time I ever saw her was like True Blood or something. But she basically says, "You don't let anybody tell you what you're going to be. You get to decide. That is, your prerogative." And I thought that was nice, especially with the struggles that kid's going to go through.
Going through identity crisis. Yeah. He's having a midlife crisis, and he's 4 days old.
Well,
his forehead creeps me out because he's got an acne.
I don't disagree.
Scar. Do you see his acne scar, his chickenpox scar?
No.
I didn't see that.
I've got one of those directly in the middle of my forehead.
Because
they'll probably cover it. Yeah, it may have just been missed this episode.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, speaking of that kid's face, man, does he scowl a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen very few actors on the show that he just always has this look on his face,
But he's brooding, and he doesn't really know how to brood right now.
I know, he should watch Old Angel.
Yeah, he's kind of
overacting.
I almost want to say he's almost a little bit overacting, and not in a bad way, but in a sense of he's over dramatizing everything because he doesn't know how to rein anything in at this point.
Yes, I would totally agree with that. So yeah, we get to Missouri at the shop where her friend got killed, and we see Dean and Jody, and there's a nice little reunion there, and there's a little meta reference like, yeah, I haven't seen you in like more than a decade.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny.
Or longer.
Yeah.
I will say. Oh, I was gonna say
Go for it.
Dean calling Sam out before leaving was both good and bad. Because he was a little harsh, but because obviously Sam doesn't want Jody to die. That's not what he's doing. But he's so focused on this one thing to the point of, well, now you're ignoring other people that may need you to focus on this person that maybe doesn't need you right now at this moment, and why not even bring Jack? Jack probably could have saved everyone. Again, that's probably what's that word you like to use? Deus machina. Deus
ex machina. Yeah.
There you go.
Literally in this case.
But you still see that level of what's the word I'm looking for? Shoulder to bear, burden to bear. Sure. Everything's on me from Dean.
Yeah. Well, and absolutely. And that's one of the things that I was thinking when he was saying that is that I kind of side with Sam on this one. If they had to go out and back up every hunter out there, nothing would ever get done. They'd be the only hunters.
Right.
You have to, within that community, they all have to be able to trust the people are going to get the job done.
Yeah. I think if it were any other time, any other moment, probably would have been fine, and Dean probably wouldn't have gone. He didn't, last season or 2 seasons ago, whenever they had that Donna and Jody episode. But having gone through all this, everyone's just been lost, and he's like, no, we're not losing any more people.
Yeah. Which they definitely head faked us with that later. I was like, no, and then after the second one,
I know. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Okay, I know what's happening here.
Yeah.
So
this was definitely the dream sequence.
Yeah. There was a lot of head fakes. So we go back to Sam, and he's quote unquote, the way that Dean put it, he's Mr. Miyagi-ing the kid. Paint the fence.
He does. He does paint the best visuals sometimes. So simple and direct and to the point.
really nice pop culture references in the show. I've always loved that. Yeah, so the kid's clearly getting frustrated, not being able to move the pencil. And when it comes back to him later, I think he had. I thought it was an interesting thing where he said Sam pointed out all the different times that he had used his powers, and he goes, "Well, maybe I am evil because all those things are bad, throwing people around, opening the gates of hell, whatever." It seems to be much easier for him to use his power in a destructive fashion. Gia, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, he opened up the gates of hell, but he closed them again. He threw people against the wall in fear. And so, a lot of those powers that he's talking about, a lot of those things that he did to hurt people were done accidentally. I don't think he's thinking right. He's not in his right mind. Well, of course, he's 4.
He hasn't figured out what his right mind is yet.
Yeah. Hasn't figured out what his right mind is.
Yeah.
Super, what do you think about that?
He's all reaction, and he's like, what's that character that can only access his power when he's like afraid? One of the characters from Legends, wasn't it? The steel guy. Couldn't he only access his power when he was under Captain direct Steel. Attack? Yeah, so he kind of reminds me of that. Of, he can only access it fight or flight. And when he fights, it, boom. There you go.
And actually, that's something they're dealing with on Gifted as well right now, which, by the way, that show is continuing to kill it. Really enjoying that show as well.
I got to catch up on the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's good. So
I'm working on Stranger Things.
Yes. Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Yeah. Can't. So we go back and we get the end of Missouri, which I believe that was the main all caps text that I got from Super there. Yeah, they brought her back for a guest spot for like 5 minutes screen time and to die, which was kind of a bummer. I like how she handled though. It felt like this Wraith dude was just a real badass. Like, I don't know if the fact that he'd been feeding on psychics, but he had. If it hadn't been for that head fake at the end, he would have had a pretty significant body count just in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, Super. What were your thoughts on Missouri being back for so little time?
It was the lamest thing I think that they've done.
Agreed.
You've been having the
since
fandom.
Killing Felicia Day?
No, that was a whole different level of wrong, because I could have even understood it if they just written it better. This, it made no sense. You bring her back. You basically wrote her in, oh, we're going to write you in because we want your granddaughter to go over to Wayward Sisters, which is fine. You want a connection from the old to the new. But it was just so pointless. It's just like, okay, I brought you in. Go save the family. I'm going to go home. I'm going to reconnect with the family at the end. And then I could be that touch base between the old and the new, along with Jody.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just have her stand there and be the last one standing.
It didn't make sense to me that she was still hanging around in that shop. Like, we saw her with flashes of things to come. She clearly knew what was coming. She said at one point, "I've seen what happens if I run. You catch me and kill me. If I stay here, you kill me and kill me."
So why did you stay there? Why did you stay there? What was the point?
Go to a gas station.
It's like the writers threw her in the way.
And that is so surprising to me, because this was written by Robert Behrens, who in my opinion is top 2 supernatural writers of all time. And I was just like, really? Like, that's she couldn't have had a heroic death? She couldn't have saved the granddaughter, like via Amelia, Claire's mom, who threw herself in front of the sword and saved her daughter? I'm just like, there was a number of different things that you could have done instead of just standing there going like, I know.
Other than Buck Lemmings, I genuinely expect the supernatural writers to treat their characters better than that.
Yeah.
So
that was disappointing. It just I was just like, really?
It was disappointing.
13 seasons and that's how you say goodbye?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like she was a major part of the show. We hadn't seen her in
No,
12
she wasn't.
years.
You hadn't seen her in a while, but it's like, why did you even bring me back then?
Yeah. So then we get to her actual family in Georgia. We saw her briefly talk to her son James, and then we get to see Patience, the daughter or the granddaughter, in high school with her volleyball friend. And so the girl is trying to convince her to play volleyball again. And did anybody else think, Gia, did you think when she threw that ball and Patience immediately caught it just so easily, did you think, oh yeah, clearly she's a little bit clairvoyant?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that was just calculated to go, oh,
Yeah.
she's a psychic.
Yeah, like she's never going to get hit with a snowball. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, we weren't
Well, also because she lives in Georgia.
Going, I wonder if she's psychic too. No.
Yeah.
It was like, done.
And then we got the first of the major time lapse headbits there because that conversation is repeated twice, or essentially. She talks to the friend and then she sees a trail of blood and the lights start going wonky and she sees, her undead grandma sitting there and then wakes up. So yeah, we get the first clear indication that this girl is definitely receives power through the bloodlines. Let's see. Her dad. I'm always disappointed when there are characters like that. that are just so in their head and clearly refuse to see what's going on nope, I just don't think Mom's a psychic. No, okay, yeah, I guess she was a psychic, but no, we're just gonna leave because nothing bad will happen then. Ah, crap, bad things are happening now. I hate the willfully ignorant character that.
Yeah.
Super, what do you think of that whole setup? Like, is the dad gonna be part of the show, or is it just gonna be?
He may have a
daughter?
guest appearance here, guest appearance there, but Jesus, I hope you don't make him a wanker like you did tonight. Because all I thought was every time he was on camera, I was like, man, you were just a wanker. Man. Like, why is she even listening to you? Like, oh, he's about to get stabbed by the wraith again. Oh, okay, no, she saved him. But he's still a wanker. Like, I mean.
Well, there was the part that right before she gets kidnapped, where he says, "Go pack your stuff," and I was really kind of expecting her to no. We have to deal with this. And then she just ate. Speaking of her getting kidnapped.
Because they thought it would be a surprise to see the wraith in the closet.
And that dude must have been in the closet for a while. Because she was wandering around in her room for like a good 3 minutes and had a little vision with the amulet or the brooch. So that guy was just sitting in the closet the whole time, like, hey, coming over here now? Anytime now.
I could totally make a supernatural. There's the fandom. All I know is the fandom's going to be making another supernatural guy in the closet joke tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He kidnaps Patience and then James, the son, remembers. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot. Magic is totally real, and I used to do it as a kid, so let's use it now. I was not super happy with that little twist.
At least we could have gotten a smidgen of regret speech.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. No,
I mean,
he didn't at all.
Regretful, but I would like him to say it to make that scene more powerful, but he didn't. So.
All right, we get the Hikari in the chat room. What's up, Hikari? That is a good question that Hikari asked. How did the wraith know where to go to find
I'm going to
Patience?
assume this is kind of like we're going to pull from the iZombie world a little bit. I'm going to assume that when he eats the brain, he gets a little bit, because he said it was like getting a trip when he ate the brain. Mm-hmm. So maybe the link, that connection,
just
everyone
picked up a little psychic for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That or he followed them.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Plot.
That would have been pretty. Yeah, that would have been pretty south for him to follow them and then just not notice.
No, and he's a little bit better at that. He would notice if one car was following him on a back road all the way to Georgia.
Yeah, from Missouri to Georgia. Yeah, or not even Missouri. They're in Nebraska.
Were they in Nebraska? I don't even know.
Yeah,
Nebraska?
because when he stopped at the gas station, the news said in Omaha.
There you go.
Oh, that's
All
right.
right. Yeah. Here, pick Backwater Town, USA, and stick 50 pins in it. They've been there about 50 times.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the first things that I questioned you, Super, about when I started watching the show, I was like, man, why are all these tiny little towns so friggin' haunted and filled with supernatural stuff? Like, they're just all over the Midwest all the time. Like, I grew up there. I don't remember that many haunted towns. So, dude's got her. Did we ever get a name on the Wraith, or he was just the Wraith?
What was his name? Maybe Hikari knows. I don't think they ever said it though. I mean, he may have given a fake name to be checked in as a client, but I think he was just.
And of course,
just a nameless Wraith.
And of course, they drove from Omaha to Atlanta. Was it, or Georgia?
Somewhere in Georgia, yeah.
And they didn't look shagged out or tired, or they didn't hate each other. And
the car was still immaculate and beautiful.
Yeah,
not a bug on the windshield.
No snacks.
It's the power of baby.
It was.
I'm telling you, that car is supernatural.
Yeah, it's supernatural.
Magic. Sure. Dude, they drove in like a day from Nebraska to Georgia, and somehow this Wraith has a whole evil lair set up somehow. Just got an abandoned old house, no problem. First thing you can see when driving to town is.
That's the biggest
what I loved about this
I've ever seen.
What I loved about this was the dude did the full-on villain monologue. It was,
dude.
This is my plan. This is me explaining everything.
if he'd had a mustache, he should have had a mustache. That should have been in there. He would have just swirling it. I mean,
I'm going to feed on you forever. And it gets to the point where you're just about to do something bad to the hero, and then the there. This was the second major head fake, is them progressing through that house, fighting the Wraith, and we didn't, because we had seen Missouri's vision of her son being dead. I thought that was going to happen, so that didn't surprise me. When Jody got stabbed, I went, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
I think I wrote down in my notes Jody with a exclamation mark, and then I was like, "But there's another show. She's got to be." Huh. And then Dean got stabbed like 19 times. And I was like, oh, I get it. Yep, this is not going to happen. How badass with this Wraith? Like I was saying, if that hadn't been a head fake with a time lapse, this dude would have had a huge body count.
Yeah, it would have been insane. It would have been insane.
Did anybody else have a Buffy flashback? I was like, oh, I miss Buffy.
I did with the pencil. When he was talking about the pencil with Willow, I definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the time lapse, the psychic, I don't remember the psychic. What was psychic about? That
the only psychic I remember from Buffy was in season 6 when Willow was going Dark Willow. There was that creepy, was it Eric Roberts or some? No, not even Eric Roberts. It's just a super creepy old dude with like milky eyes or whatever that's training her. Anyway.
Oh, right. Yeah. What was his name? Oh, that's gonna bug me now.
That's what IMDb's for.
But just the whole color and action of this episode just reminded me a lot of Buffy.
Yeah. Well, I like that set design on that final house. I was like, yeah, this feels familiar. And actually, I really liked that this was kind of a classic Monster of the Week type episode. This wasn't a lot of overarching, season-long plot line. It was like, hey, remember, this is what we do. I'm actually kind of surprised nobody gave it "this is what we do" speech. although it was close. So Patience is clearly madly, burgeoningly psychic, and she remembers everything just right before it's about to happen. So she's able to save her dad and Jody and Dean, and the Wraith gets it. Everybody's happy, and the girl gets freed. At which point, of course, Jody recruits another one. She's just collecting, to use an appropriate phrase, we're children.
Yeah, she's I mean, that's her shtick, she takes people under her wing. And I'm sorry, but I get why Dean said what he did. That speech coming from Dean
totally makes sense.
Well, in this sense, it totally makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't, because that's not his character at all. His character has always been about the life, and I'm going to go out guns blazing and blah, blah, blah. And he's never told anyone, you're going to find normal. If you can take it, get it,
Actually, yeah, come to think of it, that would have made a whole lot more sense coming from Sam.
It would have made a whole lot more sense coming from Sam, because Dean is all about, you're in the life. Once it touches you, it touches you. There ain't no way out.
But they have to set up the cast coming back. So they're setting up the sweetness of the moment when Dean and Cass finally meet.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
It's called the character dark moment. The character has to have dark moment before redemption.
Right. And he's in his dark moment right now, definitely. Bad place.
And also, with this being sort of a backdoor pilot for Wayward Sisters, they definitely needed Jody to have something to step in and say,
hey,
hold on a second, let me give you some life-changing advice. And by the way, here's a way to contact me for when we do our actual pilot.
It would have been so fun. I want to know on the blooper reel if she gave her the number. So here's my number. Call me, maybe?
No.
Maybe? Because remember that song? Come on. Call me, maybe reference will never die. Even if we want it to.
I really do.
Guys, I'm going to...
I saw a trailer with it, or I saw something with that song in it today. So it was actually in my head already.
Nope, it won't die. It won't die no matter how hard we try.
Anyway, so we clearly set up another girl joining Jody's crew. Mm-hmm. We go back to the bunker, and Sam and Dean have it out, and it was needed. Even though it's only been, as you said, about 4 days in universe time, and even in 3 episodes, they both kind of been tiptoeing around each other with the issue, or like putting it off. And I thought it was good that we had that big scene of them saying, "Look, this is my issue with this." And Gia, what did you think about that scene? Especially with Jack hanging around the corner there.
And Super Who was probably, she hit me over the head with it, because I
wasn't trying to.
That was harsh. I was like, he's right around the corner, you idiots.
Right. In that sense, yes. I think if he'd known if he was listening, he probably wouldn't have been that harsh.
Yeah.
But
then again,
I kept on,
wouldn't have had conflict. The argument wouldn't have had conflict, because everybody in the audience is going, he's right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, and as I was watching that, knowing that Jack was around the corner listening, I kept on thinking, oh, thank God Sam is saying such nice things. Sam was really sticking up for Jack, and he was really saying, like, I love the way that he started it off, being where he's pretty messed up, and Dean's like, yeah, tell me about it. He goes, no, he's messed up because of you.
Yeah.
Dean has created what he's scared of.
Yeah, and some of that is definitely true. Although I think he'd still be going through this crisis even if both of them were treating him. Because he's still conflicted about who he is and what he is, and Dean is not helping, obviously.
Well,
but at
his
this
dad
point,
is literally Satan. You're gonna be conflicted.
I know, but he just he can't care. There's nothing left in him right now to care. So. Yeah. And as Hikari points out, the 2 things: 1, you could see the buildup before Dean left. You knew it was going to explode at the end. And 2, 3 things, actually. 3 very good points. 2, that's what happens when you bottle up your emotions, a.k.a. thanks, John Winchester, for that one.
Yeah, no, I'm Irish. I get it.
Because you just, what did I call it in the chat? You just vomit everywhere, emotionally vomit everywhere, and end up causing a lot more hurt than you intended. And then Dean throwing back into Sam's face, he's just a tool right now. He's just a tool for you. You can't honestly tell me you care about this kid, because all you want him to do is open up the alternate dimension to get Mom back.
And I disagree with that. I think that he does genuinely care for the kid. He had the whole little speech to the kid about, I know what it's like to be considered the dark one and not know.
Dean, he doesn't see that, because he doesn't understand. I mean, when he was Demon Dean, he had no conscience,
Yeah, no conscience.
anything like that. And I don't think it tears him up the way it does Sam, because Sam was human, but at the same time he had this thing in him that didn't understand.
And Sam was dealing with that for years too. That was a really extended plot point with Sam. Over at least a couple of seasons, I think. Yeah, I was kind of expecting to just take off at that point, just teleport somewhere else. Like, Mom and Dad are fighting again. Time to get out of the house.
Yeah, but he didn't. He did not.
Yeah,
he can tap into his powers, man. When he's emotionally charged, he can tap. I wonder if he even knew what he did. You have to wonder if he even knew what he did at the end.
Because that fight ends with Dean pointing out that, and I think unfairly, that Jack is kind of cause of Cass having died. I don't think so. Not really. I mean, yeah, having the whole interdimensional gateway thing was definitely a factor, but let's put blame where blame is due. That was a Lucifer. But yeah, he brings up Castiel, and we finally get to see Misha.
But in the beginning of the episode, he said that he felt like that his powers were natural, that it just flowed out of him. So maybe
where it was breathing.
Doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. He's definitely gonna have to. I feel like any story like this, there's always like, oh, it's hard to control your powers, and then half a season later, it's like, oh, yep, no, I'm a master now. Just do whatever I want. So we finally get to see Misha, and as expected, it's for like 10 seconds, and he doesn't even get to say anything.
I know, it was so random. I was like, really? That?
Yeah.
He was in his clothes, I guess.
I was like, Angel Purgatory. That's interesting. Or
is he in purgatory? Is that what purgatory looks like?
He's in the empty, I think is what they're calling empty. I'm like finger quotes.
The void.
But I guess we've been proven wrong, though. Misha Collins said at a con once that he thought that angels, when they died, went to stock shelves at Walmart. So I guess that theory's been proven wrong.
I think they have to serve meatballs at IKEA. So
I just hope, fingers crossed, I hope that we get to see how he gets from point A to point B. And this isn't going to be like Purgatory where he just gets pulled back by Jack or some angel. I want to see, I want to know if this is how really the Reaper is coming back. Is she going to be his unwilling guide through the empty and get him to the other side, all of the river Styx? And just want to see a little bit. I don't want him to just be like, poof, what do you need? I
just don't want to wander around in a black space for like 20 minutes.
He's supposed to reunite with the Winchesters back in episode 5. So that's why I'm like, like 4 or 5, because he's supposed to be with them. They're all supposed to be teamed up. The new Team Free Will. Episode 6.
Nice. Well, we got that to look forward to. I thought the eye effect on Jack was really cool. Those glowing irises are always red, but then when they faded to black and it just looked like bigger eyes in the middle of nowhere, I was like, yeah, cool. So, final thoughts on the episode, Gia? What was your? We did favorites and least favorites, but what was your overall impression of the episode? Were you happy with it?
I was happy with the Patience and Jody part. I was happy with seeing Dean's beautiful green eyes. And I was not happy with the continual pain on Jack. I need to see something else from the character. I think it makes him one-dimensional and wooden.
I think they're getting a little
opinion.
They're in danger of going a little too close to the route of Angel's son, where it's just like, oh, everything's screwed up about me. I'm in so much pain.
No, it is not. Nothing will ever be as bad as that, because that was literally next to the last season of Heroes. That is the worst writing I've ever seen on television. And I realized that Charisma Carpenter kind of put Joss Whedon in a box, but there was so many other things that they could have done. And I mean,
yeah,
I can't even.
Let's not go there.
I know. I'm getting a little upset about it. Although, if you do actually want to see the stuff that we're talking about, Angel, it was a fantastic show for the most part. If you want to go back and rewatch that, you can go to our website, malice-corp.com. We've got Amazon links up there, and you click on those. You're going to Amazon anyway for something. You might as well do it through our site and help support us so that we can do things like podcasting, stuff like that. And you know. It's Amazon. You're definitely going.
It's Amazon.
So, yeah.
It's great.
Super. What about overall impressions of the episode?
It was a good episode. It was a solid spin-off. It was much better than the backdoor, like we were talking about. It was much better than the backdoor pilot that they had for Bloodlines, which was just awful.
Yeah.
So boring. It wasn't even awful. It was just boring.
Yeah.
So this definitely gave a good solid start. I know that the actual pilot is coming a little bit later this season, where it's going to have, I think, Donna, Jody,
Nice.
Claire will be back. I believe Alex will be back, and Patience, I think, will be brought in as well. And so it'll really spin it off. If what I'm reading is
going to be a Bosley.
The Bosley?
Yeah, are they going to have like a dude sidekick?
Did you see that article? Oh.
They could. I don't know. I mean, honestly, if anyone in that cast of characters was a Bosley, it'd have to be Donna, because she's, kind of goofy, kind of upbeat, but still comes through when you need her.
Yeah.
But I was going to say the two best scenes were definitely, one when he walks up to Missouri and she immediately calls him out on his loss, and he's just like, well, leave it to a psychic to cut right to the chase, And that was very much Missouri from season 1, where she could sense people's auras and just know, oh, honey, I know what you're going through, blah, blah, blah. And no hiding. I don't know why he was expecting to not be called on the, and then the line too, I don't know which one of you to hug first.
Yeah, I like
very
that
Dean. But then the line too at the end when he's arguing with Sam, Sam coming at him with, well, you could have shot me, but you didn't. And obviously that's a completely different scenario. One is your brother that you've grown up with, that you raised, essentially. And the other is, this kid that you don't know from Moses, who's in your mind cost you everything, but he throws it back.
Essentially the Antichrist.
Essentially the Antichrist.
Or the potential to be. Yeah.
The potential to be the Antichrist. And, Dean counters back the argument that they had about Mary, where Sam almost blamed Mary for getting trapped on the other side. Well, she didn't have to go after Lucifer. She chose to get that shot. So it was almost like, I don't want to say blaming Mary, but it almost did feel like he was blaming Mary. And I'm like, well, if you want to blame anyone, blame Lucifer.
I feel like Dean has completely written off Mary at this point.
He can't deal with it. In his mind, he can't. In his mind, he has to accept her as dead, because if he goes and finds her and then finds out that she's really dead, it's all over.
Yeah.
It's all over.
He can't deal with hope.
No, he can't deal with any hope right now at this point.
Nope.
Because everything that was giving him hope is gone.
That's something I didn't even really think about until just about now. We didn't see Mary and Lucifer in this episode. We didn't see the alternate.
So we'll probably get them.
Next week, I guess.
We will probably get them next episode. But then the line that he gave about Cass, the one that caused Jack to think about Cass and wake Cass up, that's something that you never would have heard from Dean ever. Like, I can't even look at this kid right now because this is what he promised Cass, and he ended up dead, and I can't deal with that. That never would have come from Dean seasons 1 through 11. Ever. The only time that we ever got any line like that, he was stoned off his butt from a sandwich. You know what I mean? Yeah, so
sandwich.
I mean, that's kind of sad that I say that that's huge growth for a character like that, but that line, I had to go back and I'm like, no, he didn't say that. And I went back and watched it like 5 times. I'm like, he really did just say that. Like, so that's huge for him. He didn't even say that about Mary, his mom. It's not Mary being gone isn't what he can't handle right now. it's, maybe it's a combination of both. But
they've got such they're so used to having been gone for most of their lives that the fact that she's gone again, Sam treats it like, oh my God, we had our chance to get her back and we kind of squandered it. But hey, maybe we can still get her back. And I don't know. I just feel like they're used to her being absent. That's just how, that's what they're used to. Whereas Cass is somebody that came into their life and has been there for like 9-10 years.
Yeah.
It's a character's dark moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good way to show growth if you can go through the dark moment and change.
Yeah, change. And not drink. He's not drinking this time too. That's astounding.
Well, he was at the beginning.
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the episode, you see him sitting there with like 9 or 10 beer bottles next to his bed.
Oh, he did have those, huh? Yeah, I remember the headphones, and I remember the one beer, but I forgot that he had like 9 or 10. So clearly he is drinking, but he's not. I don't know, because I felt like in season 7, especially at the beginning, I mean, he was just downing bottles like they were water.
Yeah. He was drinking whiskey like it was water.
That is a silly cliche. I think that's a silly cliche.
Drinking whiskey like water
for character development.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was episode 3. Like I said, I overall I was a fan. I didn't like the way they treated Missouri, but in general, I liked the return to Monster of the Week type stuff, and just a little bit of overall season arc progression. So let's talk about where we can find people. SuperWhovian. Where can we find you online?
Come follow me on Twitter at SuperWhovianNut. It's always a good time. And we've got some exciting stuff coming out for you in November. I know Gia helped me a little bit. We're going to have Mest helping me this weekend. We've got Jazzercise videos. I don't know, Hikari, if you've been following that on Twitter with David Hayden Jones. This is like no joke. It's like 2 hours worth of footage. It's insane. And we've been splicing it together. So just everyone get your leg warmers ready, get your headbands ready, get your tank tops ready. For David Hayden Jones, getting physical in Jazzercise. I mean, we're going to have all of your favorite songs, and it's going to all, again, not raise money, but it's going to raise awareness for Alzheimer's Foundation. And it is nuts. It is so much fun.
This Twitter chat we have,
and, I'm still trying not to freak out every day, because we're literally there's 3 other ladies on Twitter with me, and let me get their Twitter names for you because they deserve some love. One of them is Unbreak My Heart, Harp, I believe. She is, yes, Unbreak My Harp, and then I have Shelby, I believe, Shelby at Moosechester, because I love that name, at Moosechester. And then there is one other one. Here we go. There is at Serene Bunny, Kimberly Ann. And we've all been just working our butts off this week. None of us have taken any time for ourselves. And so it's nuts. And he's in the chat with us. Yeah.
And of course, your Twitter handle, which is at SuperWhovianNut.
Mm-hmm.
Gia, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at red space MIPAW. That's red space me paw.
All right. Of course, I am on Twitter and Instagram as ICZorro. Pretty self-explanatory there. Guys, it's been a good time talking to you, and we will see you next week. Also follow our main cast at MaliceCast. Our producer, Jack Malice, at Jack_Malice. Go to our main website, malice-corp.com. It's the reason we're even able to do this stuff. And we are out for the week. So carry on.
Yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow night.